Okay, and we are live.
All right. Hey guys, how's it going? So, I'm Matrick. You guys may remember me from last year. I had a race against Dragon Dark, who was supposed to have been here today to race against me here for this game. But last year we did Zelda 1 Randomizer. And this year I got a different game for you guys. It's another NES game. It's another action RPG. And this one is considerably more faster paced than the one from last year. And so what you're going to see here is a game probably none of you have ever seen before. It's a top-down action RPG. It moves, like I said, at the speed of, light. There's no breaks during this game. And I'm going to do my best to explain everything I possibly can as we go through it, because there's tons of mechanics and things to explain. And, I do speed runs that are an hour long, and I still don't get through all the mechanics sometimes. So, we're going to see how we do here. So, if I'm ready to go, Cake, I'll give you a countdown, and we'll get this thing started.
Yeah, give me a countdown, and we'll get this going.
All right. Let's get going here in 3, 2, 1, go. So, we're starting off here. What happened?
I said good luck.
Thank you. All right, so in the beginning here, I actually skipped the cutscene at the start. The cutscene actually is showing that your guy was cryogenically frozen in the game. And he wakes up from a long sleep to find out that the world's basically being destroyed by the one thing that he was there to stop. So he's alive now to try to take down there's a floating tower that was created by his people a long time ago. And this weapon is being reactivated, and it's going to be used by somebody named Dragon to try to take over the world. I don't have a weapon, so I can't attack. I received a key and a key item, which is used as a turn-in somewhere else. So I have no way of attacking yet, so I basically get to navigate the world here to try to find a location where I can get something that's actually going to work here. Giving me the windmill key allows us to, get into one of the first caves. We're actually extremely skilled, so we're just going to throw the key into the keyhole there. And it's, for some reason, makes a cave explode. I don't know how this works, but it does. What exactly is randomized in this? That's a great question. So we actually randomize all the monsters in the world. We randomize every single chest. The enemies themselves actually have randomized elemental weaknesses, which is something I haven't gotten to yet. So each monster in this game has there's 4 different swords. There's wind, water, fire, and thunder. And monsters can be weak to one or any combination thereof of those swords. All of those elemental weaknesses are randomized. Furthermore, the game has actually been rebalanced. Oh god, come on, get out of the way. The game's been rebalanced in terms of the power of different weapons and the power of the monsters. So the monsters themselves actually, they used to scale like exponentially based on the way the game goes, and the actual sword power does as well. But because we've taken a very linear game and opened it up into a very non-linear game, what we've done is we've rebalanced the entire game from the ground up. And so all monsters actually scale. If you look at the bottom right corner of the screen where the HUD is, right next to where my level is, there's a counter. And that counter is actually incrementing based on every time that I pick up a key item. And so what it's doing is it's actually scaling the difficulty of the monsters up in terms of their health and their damage and their defense. And what it's doing is it's slowly incrementing it up. It also increases the amount of gold monsters drop, how much experience monsters give when you kill them. And it also is scaling up, so that it gives kind of a general idea of where we're at here in terms of in the game. So the maximum scaling is 47, and we're at 6 right now. So nice job, Bird. That was a great spawn. So you can see kind of where my progress is through the game. As far as the flags are concerned, I've removed a lot of the glitches from the game. So that makes it so that the game's going to be a little more pure. I'm not going to be doing any like major crazy skips. And on top of it, I also have a flag called Story Mode on. And really, in order to beat this game without the Story Mode flag, all I have to do is get access to the final dungeon and collect the Bow of Truth, Bow of Sun, and Bow of Moon. And then have an ability to... Alright, first death out of the way. And then I have to have an ability to damage the final boss, and I can beat the game. But if I put the story mode flag on, it actually forces me to beat almost every boss in the game, with the exception of a couple of trivial bosses. And so that gives us, you know, it's going to allow you guys to see essentially the whole game. Oh, this is bad. This is really not good. Bert, you're going to have to get the hell out of here. Bert there is this sorcerer guy who, you know, stands stationary and just shoots off projectiles. That was close. I did actually activate one glitch, and that's glitching through statues, and it's only because, like, NPCs like this that are statues, normally they just block your path. However, by opening up this particular glitch, it actually gives me access to a couple of extra items. Hey, Sword of Thunder. There's our first sword. So the Sword of Thunder is unique, and compared to all the other swords, it actually gives us access to a different part of the game. I haven't really been paying super good attention. Alright, so we now have a sword, which means I can kill things. In this game, you have the ability to stab your sword, but you also have the ability to charge up your attacks, and then you get to shoot magic out. Oh, great. These are immune to thunder. That's good. So now I can actually make some headway. I can kill monsters. I can gain some levels. The maximum level in this game is 16. We're not going to get there. We're going to get to probably around 12 is about where we're going to end up at the end. Can't kill the mummies. Can I kill anything? Oh, I can kill the puddles. That's annoying. These puddles are immune except for when they decide to stand up. And there's a constantly revolving global counter that determines whether or not they're active or not. And so, yeah. Figures the one enemy I can actually kill is annoying. I mean, I technically can kill the others. We made it so that monsters actually take damage from everything. But the... Okay, gained a level, got a little bit of money. Hopefully that'll give me enough to use it in. And we're going to make progress. I've gotten a whole bunch of items so far, and it's been moving really quickly, and you probably haven't been able to read much of anything that I've been getting. But I got a fog lamp, I got a shell flute. These items are actually used here within the town of Portoa to give me the one break that the game actually has in it. And it's, you know, strap yourselves in, guys. We got a cutscene here. So I'm going to hand off this fog lamp to the boat owner so that he can actually allow us to use his boat. And then we're going to jump on the boat, and I'm going to put my controller down here and stretch, because, yeah, cutscene right at the start of the game, right? Alright, we're done with that. So talking to that NPC there allows us to blow the shell flute, which brings over a friendly dolphin. I don't know about you guys, but I like riding on dolphin back. Friendly dolphin. Walking into this town here not only gives us a warp point, so we can actually return to this town at any time later, once we have the ability to warp, but it also unleashes a trigger. So that's going to give us access to, you know, another dungeon later on. There's a hidden item in this channel right here, which happens to be the Sword of Fire. That's going to give us more progress, which is good, because progress is important. Something I neglected to mention is you can see like these shallows here in the water. So each one of the swords, on top of the ability of doing damage... Oh, good. On top of the ability of doing damage... Can we not? They also each have a elemental shot, as you saw with me shooting out the magic. What those do is that there's 4 different types of walls and bridges that get destroyed. The wind sword destroys rock walls, fire sword destroys ice walls, thunder sword destroys iron walls, and the water sword can make bridges over shallows in water. So getting the fire sword allows us to break the ice walls that you're going to see here in this cave. One of the other things that's really nice is that along with all the chests are a bunch of mimics. Now this game has pattern tables like all NES games do for its graphics. So one of the things that is still being worked on is that trying to get all the pattern tables to work out. So you'll see I attacked that chest, which turned out to be a mimic, and it turned into a jumbled sprite. It's because unfortunately there are too many pattern tables loaded, and so the pattern table for the mimic cannot actually be loaded at that time, so it loads whatever it can, but hey, you know what, the point gets across. So I'm going to glitch through some statues again here. This cave actually has 4 total key item checks in it, or potential checks. There are 3 chests, one of which was a mimic, and then there's an NPC that are petrified. Now, normally it requires an item called the Flute of Lime in order to unpetrify those people, but I don't have that yet, so I'm actually going to have to make a return trip here. And that's going to give us, you know, another item we could check later on. In fact, I don't think I have the Fruit of Lime, do I? No, I do not. So I can actually, by timing my sword swings properly, I can push a lot of enemies along. And also push enemies like up against walls, which makes it easier to be able to kill them quickly. Stixie key, huh? So each one of these items that I'm getting, oh, great, is either going to provide us with access to an area, or it provides us with new access to an area or a key item check. I actually warped out there and reset, and the reason I did that is because poison in this game is death. Once you get poisoned, the only way of getting rid of poison is to either get a different status effect, since status effects do not stack, to reset the game, which actually clears the RAM address for what status effect is on you, or to use an antidote. I don't have an antidote, and there's no other monster here that's going to give me a status effect that's going to override it, and poison ticks until you die. And I do not have enough health at this point to be able to survive, so that would have killed me. So I did have to leave, which kind of sucks because I burned my 1 pair of warp boots. Warp boots have been rebalanced so that their price scales exponentially throughout the game because they are so valuable. If you're able to just buy stacks of them, then you can get around the game super fast. So we changed that to make that into something that's, you know, a much more valuable item. Okay, so here's the petrified NPC. I'll go ahead and show him off. Hi, Akahana. He got stoned, like really stoned. Let me recommend, guys, don't do drugs. You might end up as a statue. Gas mask. Okay. Well, that gives me access to another area. So the gas mask is our first of worn items. So this game actually has, you have sword, armor, shield, and power, which is either a ball or a bracelet that upgrade the power of your sword as well as the charge level. Then this row is for consumables. This is for items that you equip and they permanently wear. And then these are key items, and then you get magic at the bottom. So the worn item that's there, the gas mask, it actually doesn't have an effect here. But there is a section of the game that is completely covered in a poison mist, and so if I walk inside of that area without the gas mask on, I will take constant ticking damage, and it actually is about 4 damage every 8 frames. So the damage goes really quickly, and if you do not have that gas mask, making hell runs is something you need to be well prepared for, because it's a long run through the swamp, and you're taking a lot of damage. So you have to spend a lot of time either farming cash to get enough like medical herbs, or fruits of power, which regenerate your mana if you have the refresh spell. And otherwise you're not getting through that swamp. Oh god. Okay, so that's an NPC right there, that monster. We call him Bert. What? There's 2 of them? No. And the thing about Bert is a stationary NPC that blocks off a specific area in the game, and he's nicknamed Bert because he's used to grind XP on and speedrun, and he was just given the name Bert by somebody. I honestly don't know who gave it to him. But Bert is there, and then his brother, who's on the other side, there's actually 2 of them total in the game. They both guard the same room, but on different sides of it. And his brother Bert, well, both Berts were there today. So I'm heading back. I'm going back to the first area of the game, and that's because there's another path over here that, since we have the Sword of Fire, we can actually get access to now. So I'm going to go through here. I'm going to blow open this ice wall, and it's going to give us access to a new area. This is going to take us to Mount Saber. And Mount Saber is connected to the Bryn Mawr area, and Bryn Mawr's got a whole other section. You know, it would basically, in the vanilla game, would be the second area of the game, and there's a passage that we blew open in the wall. Nice. Good shot. There's a passage we blew open in the wall there in the Valley of Wind that took us to the Portoa area. So there's a break in the mountain area that you saw down kind of on the right side in the first area that I was able to walk through and go over to the other side. That actually doesn't exist in the base game, that was made in order to open the routing of the game up a lot, so that it was a lot less linear at the start. These puddles can poison. I do not want to touch them. So I'm going to walk in here and hit the checkpoint that not only gives me the warp point, but again, we're setting a checkpoint there. I don't know what the volume's like on the game, but this game actually has fantastic music, so if you guys like tunes, this game's got some great chip tunes. Ivory statue. That's a couple of key items. I'll explain more about the ivory statue when I get there. These zombies have a ton of defense, so I was probably hitting it for 1 or 2 damage per hit. I'm going to set a checkpoint right here just in case. This is the poison swamp I was talking about before. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like when you... That's how fast the damage gets done. So, what we don't want is to run through the swamp. Oops. Sorry about that. My TV once in a while when I reset decides, hey, I'm not going to load right away. So I accidentally push start. There's a lot of different monsters that can spawn here in the swamp since all the monsters are randomized. And dying here sucks. So walking into the town there and going up where you saw me go activates the warp point, but that's also a trigger to start up another event. So basically, you know, I'm kind of getting back to the story so I can explain a little more things here. The world is being attacked by the Empire, and the Dragonian Empire is run by Emperor Dragon. Emperor Dragon is opposed by the 4 wise men, and they're basically like a resistance against them. And so this guy on the right here with the sweet handlebar mustache, his name is Tornell. He's one of the 4 wise men. He wants us to battle against his apprentice Stom here to prove that we're good. You know, but if we let Stom kick our ass here, every time that he beats us up and pushes us out the door, he gets a lot less aggressive. So we're actually going to let him push us out the door 3 times. Come on, push me out. Alright. And then on the 4th encounter, he almost really doesn't do anything. So you basically just, you know, force him back up against the wall at the back, and he doesn't really offer much resistance, and it's over pretty quick. I mean, I don't know about you, but when somebody asks me if I, to, you know, duel their apprentice, and he's got a stick, I come at him with a sword. You know, I'm playing for keeps here. Just stab him until he stops moving. Pin him against the wall with a sword in his belly. In doing so, he gave us this sweet medical herb, which is a consumable and kind of sucks because that's not progression. So we're going to have to head back to Mount Saber. We're going to be blowing open some ice walls here and see if we can't get some more key items. Mount Saber is going to be our next method of progression because I don't really have a lot of other options at the moment. Without the Sword of Wind, without change, and without Sword of Water, I'm kind of stuck with what I have. I also don't have flight, so can't really get back anywhere right now. We're kind of locked over here until we get some more items. So we get to explore more dungeons. Most of the dungeons in this game, get out of here, Butterfly. You are death. You know what? I'm going to burn that medical herb. Because butterflies are one of the most dangerous enemies in the game. They have some of the highest base contact damage in the game. God damn it. Really? Did you see how much damage that stupid butterfly just did? It halved my health. Get out of here. Go away. I do not want any. That key to the prison I picked up is, it locks off an area behind one of the first major bosses. Oh my god. Can we... You know what? We're gonna have to kill some butterflies. No. To make matters worse, I got these eyeballs over here, and they're shooting petrification. Oh my god. Please. They're shooting petrification rays out. Can we get out of here? Oh my god, that was so dangerous. Nice! Sweet! The Mimic got me. First the butterflies, and then the Mimic. Rip. That was sweet right there. I love it. I'm so glad that that Mimic killed me right there. Then you guys get to see what happens when a Mimic jumps out and eats you. Alright, I do have to run back the other way over here because this chest was a necessary item for progression. Because the story mode flag is on, I most likely am going to have to come from the backside. Get out of here, butterfly. I'm most likely going to have to come from the backside. Oh! Dude, I can't. Butterflies are so dangerous. I wish Stonk was here. You could post a can, you don't. Because these things are lovely. Alright. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, hey, I can actually kill the holders. That's actually good. Because these things are actually one of the highest XP enemies in the game. So they scale up with a ton of experience as well. You ever met somebody more afraid of butterflies than me? Butterflies do not play. I'm being entirely serious. These things are death. There's a butterfly! And see, here's the thing about them, too. They spawn anywhere, and they don't have, they ignore walls because they're flyers. So basically, they're just heat-seeking missiles all over the place in here. And no, sir, I don't like it. I'm gonna get back on my Thunder Sword here. Alright, let's actually make some progress now. So one of the things that you might be seeing me do here and there is I'm actually like stutter stepping when I walk, and that's because the game actually... What? You bumbled into me? I hate you so much right now. Do I still have that medical herb? I do. And so what happens is that the game actually checks every 4 frames to see if you're holding the button down to charge the sword. So what I can do is I can hold the button down and then just stutter step it. Oh yeah, that's a mimic. Let's not do that. And then what it does is if I land on the frame when the game's checking, I can continue to move, but I can still charge my sword. So I have the ability to... That was close. I have the ability to charge my sword while moving. The hitbox on their sword is less than perfect. It actually shoots out like a little projectile if you were to see the hitbox viewer. And so it extends out considerably farther than what the sword looks like. Alright, final check in this area. What do we got? Oh, the ball of wind. Where do you want me to go, game? You want me to do the insect flute. Okay, that's where we're going next. We're gonna go fight a boss. So we have to go back to the swamp. I probably will gain this level here before I go there. Not from you though, Warlock. That circle beam you just saw there, that, what it does is it turns you into a magic slime. What? I've never actually seen these things be vulnerable to thunder before. That's interesting. Alright, get out of the way, soldiers. So I got, you saw me get the Orb of Wind. Now what that actually does is, so when I get the Sword of Wind, the Orb of Wind will allow me to use a level 2 charge shot, but we've also made it so that it increases the power of the sword as well. So in the base game, the Sword of Wind does 1 damage, Sword of Fire 2, Water 4, and Thunder 8. But we made it so that with each power level, all swords do 2 damage base. And then the the Sword of Fire, when you get a ball, it increases the damage to 4, and when you get a bracelet, it increases the damage to 8. So that all of the swords in the game are viable, at any given time. And all of the, you're choosing the weapon that you're going to use primarily on whether or not it's functional and whether or not, if it's convenient for the area, as opposed to like you would in the base game where if you can use Sword of Thunder, you're going to use it. Alright, so I picked up a medical herb and a few pairs of warp boots. I'm 24 minutes in, and because I've been stuck doing a lot of back and forth walking, thanks to the early game routing, I'm going to want to start warping around as much as possible, and those boots are actually relatively cheap. So those were good buys. I'll be coming back to Bryn Mawr to buy more later. But like I said before, it's boss time. But I do want to gain this level real quick. I'm bored. Bird, please. Alright, level 6. We're going to go ahead and hit the checkpoint here real fast. And let's go kill us a boss. So we're going to be going up against the giant insect here, as appropriately named as it is. It is a big bug. And he is going to be hiding out at the back end of the swamp. And this insect flute that's here will call him out of hiding. I don't know how it was hiding, but it was hiding. So its weak spot is the mandibles at the front of it. This green mosquito is far stronger than the boss himself, and is far more dangerous. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Oh, sweet. Sword of Water. Alright, so actually now, that's really good, because now I can go back to Shiren, which is the town that I teleported to when I got the Sword of Thunder. And I can now get out of here, because the Sword of Water makes water bridges. And if we come over here, which is the only way out of this town, there is a nice little river of lava. And we're just going to go ahead and freeze a section of it. The rest of the lava can keep running. There's an item right here. Let's go ahead and check for that. I actually have 2 I can check here. I also have the Key of Stixie, which is here on Mount Hydra as well. Hey! Alright, we have all 4 swords, which means basically the game is open to me at this point. So now it's time to start making rapid progress. That's actually really, really good. Because now, with that, I'm going to run around and grab a whole bunch of, I'm going to grab a bunch of little checkpoints. These robots, okay, these robots, up until recently, these are actually only in the final dungeon of the game. And we only recently just shuffled them out. Get away, bat. We actually only recently shuffled them out into the regular world, and there are 4 enemies within the final tower, and they're nasty, including those. Those are probably the worst of the bunch. I'm going to walk along the outside edge here, because the desert sands are actually, they're so hot they damage you, so we're going to walk along the outer edge so we don't have to do that. There was a helicopter. That was also in the tower. I do not like it. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is absolutely the Ed 209 of robots. And there's a lot of them, as you saw there on the field. There was a whole bunch of them there. RoboCop doesn't want to mess around with Ed 209 yet. Barrier. That's a good spell to have. That gets me access to the Cave of Stixie, which I have the key for. Mosquito, you tried. If you haven't noticed, the enemies that seem to cause the most problem, they all fly. And it's because they can just come at you from anywhere at any given time without really any warning. And they all have a faster move speed than most of the monsters, so they tend to be the ones that just, they come out of nowhere and they club you. And you're either like already stabbing your sword, or that's it. Alright, so now you can see I have 3 charge levels here. I'd already gotten the ball before. Now I just got the bracelet. So the level 1 shot is like a small projectile. The level 2 shot is a little bigger projectile. And then the level 3 shot is what we call battle magic. And so in this case, I'll show it off. It shoots off a bunch of tornadoes. The other thing about it is now that I have the ball and the bracelet there, that sword's doing 8 damage per hit. So it's far and away the strongest weapon that I've got. So I am navigating this cave, and there's a purpose for going through this big maze of hallways and bridges. Because there's a check here in the very center. There's a wall made of iron, and it's blocking off one of the most powerful items in the base game. But here, it's an alarm flute. That's also an item of progression. Good. The one thing that I worry about is when I make some of these one-off checks, that they turn out to be nothing. So I'm going to head back to Joel here, hit the inn, hopefully I can stay. Perfect. We're going to call our friendly dolphin friend back again. As I mentioned before, there was a trigger to a dungeon. Well, we're going to go explore that dungeon now. I do not have a Fruit of Lime. Fruit of Power, I think. Fruit of Lime is a huge joke. So what the Fruit of Lime actually does is it unpetrifies you if you get petrified. So basically it does almost nothing. There's only 3 enemies in the entire game. Oops. There's 3 enemies in the entire game that use petrification. Nice. And of those enemies, they're annoying, but they're not particular. Actually, there's 4 enemies now that I think about it. I forgot about mummies. But they're not particularly dangerous. And petrification, as far as status effects goes, is one of the least threatening. 9 out of 10 times. Antidote. So the wings on that mosquito that are flying around, for some reason, are taking on the palette from whatever sword I have equipped. So that's why you saw the wings as blue from before when I had the water sword on. And now they're green for wind. I don't know why it's doing that. It shouldn't be. But that's pattern table issue. These butterflies, man. Okay, so Evil Spirit Island here, which is where I'm at right now. This is a pretty long, sprawling dungeon. It has 6 treasure chests in it, and then 2 bosses. Nice. Ow, good throw. What do I got here? Beautiful. Yeah, so it's got 6 treasures and 2 bosses, so it's got a lot of checks. It also has one of the required bosses to beat the game, so we were going to have to come here eventually regardless. But coming here early... Oh my god, Butterfly, I hate you. That's not good. That's really, really not good. Yeah, threat level midnight right now. I gotta hope to find either Refresh or an Opal statue or something like that. Wait, do I have an Opal statue? No, I don't. Yeah, we're in bad shape. It's alright, we're going with it. Skill will prevail where HP failed. I hope. Okay, so these shadows here that you see on the ground, they actually are specters, but they're invisible until you hit them with a battle magic. Then that reveals them, and then you can actually damage them. But until then, they're basically just a big rectangular hitbox, and they shoot off paralysis beams, which make it so you can't charge your sword. And we don't want that. Alright, good. Okay, that would be useful if I had the refresh spell. Fruit of Power actually restores some MP. If I happen to die to the first boss here, no matter. Wow, he tried really, really hard there. Okay, come here, bat. Okay, we're gonna run away until the bats despawn. Another Fruit of Power. Ugh. There's an item that's here, but I can't actually get it. I will not make it across. Oh wait, do I have? I do not. God, why game? I can gain a level, which will get me 17 HP. I might just do that. $17 HP is better than 0. Let's see, I was at 2 HP. Alright, we're gonna make an effort at this. So we're gonna stab girlfriend here, and she's gonna turn into a boss. Oh no! Alright, I need this. Oh, thank God she's weak to wind. Okay, so the barrier spell that I have here, it actually prevents, it protects against projectiles. Get away from me, Savannah. So each one of these bosses, these are there's 4, they're called Dragonia's Finest. 4, oh my God. The boss speeds up as her health gets lower. We did it. Psycho Shield, sweet. So the Psycho Shield protects against petrification, paralysis, and I feel like there's another one and I'm forgetting it offhand. It's supposed to protect against poison, but poison only works on contact. It doesn't actually work on anything else. So, where do we want to go? You know what we're going to go? We're going to go back to Shiren, and we're going to hit up the Cave of Styxy. Hopefully there's some good stuff in there. See if I can buy any warp boots, see if the town has any. It does not. But you know what I will take? I'll take a couple of medical herbs. This way at least I got some healing. So like most randomizers, this game, you know, the most exciting part of the game is, especially in a race setting, is when you're trying to figure out, you know, to optimize your time. So you're going through areas that are going to give you the most number of checks in the shortest period of time. And right now, the Styxy Cave has 3 chests on the left and 3 on the right. I don't have flight to be able to access the 3 on the right yet, but who knows where flight's at. Also, here on Mount Hydra, there's the Bow of Sun Cave on the right, which has 3 chests in it as well. There's a 4th chest that's on an island, but I also need flight to get that, so there may be a return trip here. Can these butterflies please fuck off? I've had enough butterflies today. So that little pink puff you saw on the ground is actually a pollen monster. Normally they're in the swamp on a stalk, and they don't look like much, but they're actually extremely dangerous. Good place to be, Medusa. Oh, no, nice, a mimic. Oh my God, you're gonna have to not. Oh God, why? I hate butterflies, I hate butterflies, I hate butterflies. You know, because of this game, I have an irrational fear against butterflies, and whenever I see them in the real world, I want to kill them. Or run away from them. Or kill them, then run away from their body in case they come back. Alright, is that a flute of lime? It was. Sweet. That lets me get to Akahana back in the waterfall cave that you saw at the beginning, where he was stoned. So in this game, you know, time doesn't cure getting stoned. What? No. What are you weak to? Alright. You guys are clogging up the hallway, fat asses. Also, these things move completely randomly. A lot of enemies, there's a few different ways that enemies are programmed. They're either programmed to move towards you, move randomly, or move slowly, like, you know, in a specific direction. You know, every time the RNG gets called for them. Medusas are in the category of, I move randomly all over the place with no regard to what you're doing or where you're at, and I don't really care whether you like it or not. They're also a gigantic square hitbox. So just think of it like a big fat square running around the screen, and it hits you, and it hurts. Nice. Oh. I love butterflies. Have I mentioned how much butterflies are my favorite enemy in the entire world? Every time butterflies come around, they could be my friend whenever. If they would stop killing me. So actually what happened there was, the butterfly actually killed me. But I had an item called an opal statue. And what the opal statue does is, it breaks, and it cures you exactly once. It'll refill you to full health and remove all your status effects. So basically it's an extra life item, and that dumbass butterfly just wasted it. There are 3 total opal statues in the entire game, and 1 is gone because of a fucking butterfly. Oh god, get out of the way, please. Way to just take up the entire lane there, guys. I love it. Broken statue. Okay, that's cool. I was just shuffling items. So, normally you only get 8 item slots. However, we built an overflow in due to the way that the randomizer works. So there's an overflow that's built in, so you can actually drop one of the key items, but all it does is send it to the overflow and then replaces it with one of the ones that's in the overflow. So I wanted to get one of those items out of my inventory by using that glowing lamp to turn the broken statue into the statue of gold, which is a progression item, I might add. More butterflies? Why? Oh my god, no! Why are you here? Rabbit boots. Okay, that's an item of progression. The rabbit boots have a secondary effect that's really nice. They allow you to charge while moving. They also let you jump. And the jumping part is the progression. Because now I have access to a couple of places where I didn't have access before. This is a really good grind spot if these butterflies weren't here. Alright, so we're gonna have to walk out of Stixie. Unfortunately. Can't be helped. We're not finding any warp boots, of which there's a handful of pairs in the world, and we haven't found the teleport spell. And because I haven't really had an opportunity to do a lot of grinding anywhere decently, don't have a lot of money right now either. And the cost on those, like I said, it gets out of control pretty quickly. No thanks. Those are paralysis rays. That's a big, big problem. I'm actually going to wild warp out. So I'm going to use an in-game debug code that's for soft block purposes normally. Because I actually can't get out of that cave. Where that monster that's there, that mosquito you saw, it's an initial spawn. And so no matter what happens, it's going to spawn and my hitbox is going to be inside of it. So I have no way of getting out of there at this point. So we'll just make use of Wild Warp to keep things going. And we're going to warp back to the very beginning of the game. And we're going to move on. I'm going to go back to Joel, because I can turn in that statue of gold for an extra key item here. Statue, shell flute. Statue of gold. Barrier. I picked up a couple of pairs of warp boots while I was in Leaf, because now is kind of the point of the game where I'm going to be doing a lot of bouncing around back and forth. So right now, what am I looking for? I'm looking for flight or change. Flight would be the #1 item. Change is secondary. Oh, Ball of Thunder. Alright, what else do I got at the moment? Bryn Mare, Portoa, Leaf. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do Go Fortress. So Go Fortress is the longest dungeon in the entire game. It consists of 4 bosses, as well as basically 4 kind of checkpoints in the middle. And so it's got the most checks as far as chests are concerned. We have the item that's necessary to complete the back of it, which is the ivory statue. And we may as well do this. I have all 4 of the swords, so I'll be able to damage all 4 of the elemental, or all 4 of Dragonia's finest 4. I hope Mado 2 is not weak to water. Because if he's weak to water, and I don't find any balls or bracelets, we're in trouble. In deep trouble. Alright, so we're coming up to a boss here. This is Kelbesk. This is his second form. His first form is up on Mount Saber North, but we haven't been there yet, so... Oh, he's weak to thunder. Okay. His second form is actually easier than his first form. It's much easier to... Or, you know, he decided to body me in the corner. That works, too. It's actually... He's much more predictable compared to the first one, because his shots that he shoots off are, Really? His shots are much more predictable. They don't spawn randomly all over the place like they do in Mount Saber North. Yeah, he bodied me right in the corner. He just went full linebacker and was like, no, we're gonna end this now. But that's okay. Death is very common in this game. It's not the easiest of games. Some of the fights are particularly brutal. And you know, I also would like to add that I'm 45 minutes into the run, and I still don't have any armor. I have no armor. So physical damage, like when he decides to walk into me and body me, can be a problem. Ow. Really? No. We're not going to play that game again. Got him. Alright. Oh, that's good. That's a vanilla drop. Fred. Anytime that somebody... there's a vanilla drop in Randomizer, thanks to Zelda 1 Randomizer and its original creator, Fred Coughlin. We always call out Fred whenever something is completely vanilla. That's been going on for years and years and years. So this is Sabera's area. So you might remember Sabera from the Evil Spirit Island, where I managed to take her down with basically no HP. Her second form, however, has far more HP and like 4 times the defense. So depending on what sword she's weak to, hopefully it's wind again, she could take a little bit to kill. She could be pretty annoying. This is basically another large maze of, you know, waterways. And, good job, Mimic. Another large maze of waterways. Fortunately, I know exactly where I'm going. So it's not a problem. Now, if I had the flight spell, so I could just fly right over all these waterways, this place becomes far faster. Oh, yes. Power Ring. The Power Ring in the base game is the most overpowered item in the game. It actually adds 1 damage for every level that you are. In the randomizer, it's changed so that it actually adds damage equal to whatever your current level your sword is. So, if Sabera decides to be weak to wind, for example, instead of doing 8 damage, I'll be hitting for 16. Plus, you know, whatever my charge level is. Get out of here, flail guy. Oh, great. Nope. Alright, let's find out what Sabera's weak to. I have to rely on small amounts of HP here. Here we go. Okay, well, it's not thunder. It's not wind. Can I hit her? It's fire. Okay, that's not the worst. I would have been really upset if it was water. So Sabera's gained some new tricks since the last time we fought her. For starters, she has this fire shield now. And she also has these mana draining projectiles that you see that kind of look like spider webs. Sorry, I'm trying to focus. Ah, I was hoping not to burn that. That's alright. I was hoping that I could get her without burning the opal statue, but it wasn't meant to be. That wasn't too painful, all things considered. That could have been far worse. Hey, speaking of flight, great success. Alright, so now comes the point in the game at which I'm just going to start, you know, blow and go kind of thing. Mimic. I'm gonna really hope Mado 2 is weak to wind. Really, really. Or that I get, you know, the bracelet of whatever he's weak to. Might actually leave and come in the back door. Depending on what Mado 2 is weak to. Because now I have flight, so I can go in the back door. Oh, hey, that's very convenient. Right before the boss I would actually most want that for. Flame bracelet. Okay, very, very helpful. Well, if Mado's weak to fire, we're in good shape. I mean, you've heard me talk about Mado 2 many, many, many times. And why do I keep talking about this boss? Because Mado is the ninja cannonball. And he's also the ninja cannonball that moves at, you know, Mach 2. So, you're asking yourself, Ninja Cannonball, what the hell is that? You'll see exactly what it is. And just remember that no matter how cool you think you are, you will never be as cool as Mado the Ninja Cannonball. So this is Mado. So Mado decided to immediately just body me. Let's find out what he's weak to and then what he said. It's not thunder. It's not fire. Didn't hit him. It's not wind. So we're going to leave. And we're going to come in the backside. Oh, great. Yeah, we're going to leave and come in the backside. I don't care if I have to walk out. It's going to be faster at this point. It will be faster than trying to fight that. Because him being weak to water and only doing 2 damage per hit, 2 damage per swing, that's not happening. Not against Mado 2. Especially not with no way to heal. No real way to heal. That's a problem. So yeah, we'll come in the back door. The backside has 2, 5, 6 total items in it. Plus, actually, there's 2 in the Oasis Cave on the way in the back door. So I'll be far more equipped, hopefully, by the time that I get back to Mado 2 again. Hopefully with the ball of water and the bracelet of water. That would be the best. So walking back out of Go Fortress, it takes a minute, it's not that bad. So at this point, now that I have flight, I have access to the entire game. Other than a couple of places where there's, you know, like a key item that'll hold me out. I actually have access to the entire game at this point, so now it's a matter of just finding the rest of the bosses, killing them, and then finishing the game. And then hopefully we're able to find, you know, the last couple items that I need along the way. There's actually a key item check here in town, but because I do not have the change spell, I can't actually get it yet. You know what I am going to do? I'm actually going to really quickly hit Sahara here. Sahara is the final town of the game that I'm going to want to warp back to. It also has the rabbit Dio, who, once I get the change spell, has a key item on him. Or an item on him. And then there's also the pyramid over here that has 3 items in it. And it's also a required trip, so... I keep saying we whenever I talk about things, and I guess that's because I didn't explain. I'm actually on the development team for this game. So the programmer is Steve Hacks. He does all of our programming. And, you know, I'm primarily responsible for, you know, a lot of playtesting and a lot of balancing of things. But Steve is our programmer, and he's actually taken and he's defragged the entire ROM for the game. And he basically rewrote the entire ROM for the game, for the ground up. And then he redid all the pointers, and he's adjusted everything, and he's basically taken the base game, and it looks the same, but it's not at all the same. Under the hood, it's a completely different game. Okay, so Dragon there, Dragon 1, that's actually Emperor Dragon himself. So he is really unfortunate in the fact that he has no iframes, unlike everything else in the game. Oh, good. Good. Consumables. Consumables everywhere. In fact, I may as well get it from him. Perfect. Well, that was a worthless trip, other than the fact that I needed to kill that boss. Yeah, so being on the development team, you know, every time I say we, I'm talking about us, you know, and the changes that we've made to the game and all the other things. Are warp boots here, and how expensive are they? 731. We will not be buying any. At least not here. Yeah, warp boots, their cost scales exponentially throughout the game. Basically, from whatever their base cost is, it's about every 10 key items, so I'm at 29 scaling right now. About every 10 levels, it doubles in cost. So we're going to fly over and we're going to grab the island item here. There's an item that's on an island. And it's, since I'm right here, it's the best time to get it. Hopefully it's something useful. Fucking consumable. Beep! I hate consumables. I'm trying to keep my inventory slots open if I can. I'd like to mention I'm an hour in, and all we're really looking for at this point is the ability to kill the last few bosses, and then we're going to be on our way. So, coming in here is one of the bosses, Carmine. He's on the backside. You already saw Mato 2, who's a problem, because I don't have good items to be able to kill him yet. Then I have Mato 1, and I have Kelbeck 1, and then we're off to the final boss, so not too bad. Might end up a little bit overestimate, but it won't be too bad. I mean, again, 20 minutes is a really long time, and in a game that moves as fast as this one does. It'd be awesome if I could find a pair of speed boots. Oh, yes. Okay. The teleport spell replaces warp boots, so I no longer need warp boots. I can now get around the game. That fruit lime out of here. There's that meme item. Mimic. Lovely. I'm not sure why that chest is all messed up. The chest should not be, as far as the pattern tables are concerned. Storm bracelet. Alright, we lag storming. I'm gonna make a fair warning here in advance. If you are, you know, sensitive to, you know, light patterns or get epileptic seizures, when I use the thunderstorm, it can do that. So, just be forewarned that that's a possibility. Oh man, why? Alright. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this. Hello? Oh, I meant barrier. That hurt. Maybe we're not gonna do that. Again, I have no armor. So, physical damage is really gonna hurt. I can block all of his spells with barrier. But I can't do much with regards to his physical damage. I don't have a way to heal him. Alright, he's down. Not too bad. Ball of water. Yes! Anything to help with Mato. Alright, let's go check out what Mato 1 looks like. So we are going to hope that he's weak to something other than water. His baseline form here is much slower, as you can see. Okay, cool. Wind. I can deal with that. Hi, Nala. And we're graced by Kitty. Can you not block my screen, please, Nala? That'd be nice. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's go kill Mado. We're done here. Let's go kill Mado, and then we're gonna go kill Kelbask, and we're gonna finish the game. The only thing I would still need are bows. I need the bow of moon, the bow of sun. I already have the bow of truth. So the good news is that the places in which they can go, there's a lot of checks in dense areas that I can go to quickly find those bows. We're in bow and go mode. So now I get to show you why I wanted the Blizzard Bracelet against Mado 2. Not only is it going to do a lot more damage, but it's actually going to actually make it easy to hit him. The water magic was like specifically designed for him, and it makes a huge difference in his fight. You know, I mean, as long as I have a battle magic to be able to deal with Mado 2, he's not the worst. But in the case of, you know, the water magic in particular, it helps a ton. If he's weak to water or thunder, you got a pretty easy time. At least by comparison to fire or wind. Wind doesn't hit many times, and fire is a stationary spell. Okay. Here we are, Mado 2. So I'm going to take the heal from Asina here. We're going to equip our Sword of Water, Power Ring. Let's get a full charge here, and we're just going to hammer him. Ow. Ow. You know what? I'm happy to use that against you, dude. Alright. Mado down. Recover spell. Not useful. Gonna go to Portoa, use the key of prison here. Gonna fly up this icy slope. Warrior Ring. Okay, Warrior Ring is very useful. So what the Warrior Ring does is the Warrior Ring actually allows you to fire off a level 1 projectile without charging your sword. So I'll demonstrate here. So every time I swing my sword, I can fire it off. This is actually very useful, especially against Kelbask here, because this particular version of him sucks. Oh, never mind. We're going to do something else. Epileptic seizure warning. Thunderstorm. Medical herb. Not what I was hoping for. Alright, so now it's just key item checks. That's all we're doing. We're doing key item checks. Gonna grab those bows, and we're on our way. Really? We missed? Good job. Okay, I got 3 checks here on Mount Saber North. Like I said, I would love to get my hands on a pair of speed boots. Speed boots increase your walking speed. They're not something that's in the base game. They were created specifically for the randomizer, just in case. And they're a fantastic item. Speedrunners hate them. See how this item created by a randomizer makes you faster in the base game. Actually, that's one of the things I've been wanting to do is go back and make a ROM that's completely vanilla, except for, you know, just has the scaling changes and things like that, and then just play through it a few times. I actually do speedrun the base game. I haven't done it in a long time, but I do absolutely speedrun this game, which is kind of why, you know, there's certain, you know, I know the game as well as I do, not only from, you know, like, the development of the randomizer, but I actually knew the game extremely well just from speedrunning it beforehand. Oh my god, that happened. Those flail guys, they wanted it. Squeak chair. Well, at least I know I don't need to go get that item on the side. We have a secret for those, waiting for those flail guys. It's called the Warrior Ring. Get out of my face. Oh hey, level up. No. I don't have the speed boost, so I may as well keep the warrior ring equipped. Hey, 1200 experience a pop. I'll kill him. Hey, I finally got armor, guys. We did it. We got armor. Speed boots are not in the base game. The leather boots suck. They don't count. They don't exist. Don't lie to the good people, folks. They do not exist. They never get picked up. The leather boots are actually, like, the most useless of the special items in the base game. What they do is they make it so when you're walking on terrain, like, that's hazardous, that you don't take ticking damage. But guess what? The rabbit boots that you actually get at the very start of the game, as well as the flight spell, they do the same thing, so they're completely worthless. You also don't get access to the leather boots until like 2/3 of the way through the game. So yeah, they're trash. Complete and utter trash. So what we're looking for here are the Bow of Sun and the Bow of Moon. And what they do is, in the final dungeon, there is a pair of statues that are they're lions, and they have a sun and a moon above their heads. And you require the bows to destroy the statues to actually get access to the dungeon. So that's why we're in bow and go mode. So once I find those bows, straight to the final boss. Love pendant. That is a key item check if I can get the paralysis spell. Except they don't exist. Like I said, don't lie to the good people. They don't exist. Nobody knows they exist. Nobody cares. They're bad. Okay. Alright, so... of course. With the tornado bracelet, we can now make this turn into Tornell up here. The trigger for him giving you his item is the tornado bracelet. So that's a, you know, relatively quick check since we're already here. Can you die? Like I said, I was aiming for about level 12. So we're level 11 at the moment. We got 38 scaling. That means there's about 11 key items left in the game, between worn items, spells, and bows. Fortunately, like I said, most of those checks are compacted into areas of 3 and 4 items. Yeah. Alright, back to Portoa. Let's hit the inn. We're gonna check the Fog Lamp Cave. Fog Lamp Cave is a long one-way cave system that normally holds the fog lamp in the base game, and in the randomizer holds who knows. switching to wind here because there's a lot of rock walls in this cave. And we need this to blow them open. Warrior Ring is so nice when you don't have speed boost. You just push shit out of the way. Get out of the way! Fruit of Repin. That cures Curse. Don't need it. Jump as we go through the doorway here. There are 2 initial spawns in that room. If one of them happens to be a butterfly, it's a bad time. Man, Mimic City. Consumable? Oh man, Fog Lamp Cave's looking like a bust. Yeah, Spokes is right. I'm playing with a flag called RO, and basically it removes the requirement of having level 2 shots, so we can do it with level 1. What it does is it changes the balls and bracelets from progression items and changes them into combat upgrades. So you're actually, it's, you know, it makes the game a lot more open, especially early on from a routing standpoint. Remember what I was saying about the Fruit of Repin and not really needing it? I was wrong. I lied. Totally needed it. Absolutely useful. Best item in the game. Just need to get past you. That's all I need to do. Raising my hair there, pal. Oh my god, what a waste of a cave. You want to talk about waste of time? That was a waste of time. Which is unfortunate, because at this point, we're probably looking at like a 128, 130? Depending on how fast I find these bows, of course. Well, there's the change spell. Need flight. Change is good because change actually opens up 3 items. 3 key items. I know, Tyr, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's a randomizer. What do you want? It's kind of up to the game what the game decides to give us. I mean, I put a relatively generous estimate down, and this has been less than a generous seed. Let's put it that way. Oh, nice snipe. So those projectiles that they shoot off are mana draining projectiles, and they're turds. Magic ring. It's full mana restore. He gooed me. Oh no. Please, no goo, my dude. I hate flail guys. So flail guys are special. The flail that they have is actually a separate NPC from the monster itself, and they're programmed in a special way so that they're like the only monster in the game that you can't barrier their ability, you can't fly over it. That's crap. It's really not jokingly. Like, they don't allow me to roll seeds. It's like reality. They don't let me roll seeds. I roll mean seeds. Then again, the logic for the game has been altered to be Oh, hey, Boa Moon. Woo! We're there, dude. We need one more. Boa Sun. Come on, Dolphin. Come through for me. That's not a Boa Sun. Alright, we're going to go to Goa. We're going to hand in this item to Brokahana. Or rather, he's going to hand an item to us. That's also not an item I was looking for. Alright, I don't have paralysis. Let's go back to Amazonas. I'm trying to make these checks as quickly as possible. Just rapid firing these things out. Gonna change into a woman here. This is a town of women who despise men. So we're gonna change into a woman here and hand this item back, and then, hey, surprise! Okay, Shiren. We're gonna do Stixie. Hope I don't have to go to the Bow Sun spot, but Stixie's, got 3 items in it. Give me back flight. Burn this. It was I was a man the whole time. And as you teleport away going, bitch. It's okay, she had the last laugh. She coughed up nothing. She's like, yeah, whatever. Take the antidote and go. At least he's away from me. You filthy man. I have the Psycho Shield. I don't have to worry about dodging a Petrification Beam. Lag Cave. Battle armor. That's useful. Actually, it's probably faster to just go back to Shiren again. Men in 2019. Really? God. Who do these people think they are? Are they men? Think they can just come into this town full of women and mingle? God. Who do you think you are? A man? Alright, so back into Stixie here. So I mentioned there were 3 chests on the side that I did not have flight to access. There's actually a river. And so we need flight to cross the river. Go away, mosquito. Lysis plant. There it is. Alright, let's go. We did it. Time to finish the game. Hype. Alright, final in trip here. So, my scaling value is at 43, okay? The maximum scaling value, as I mentioned at the beginning of the game, is 47. And there's actually 4 extra items that were added in. So for a grand total of 51 potential items, there's not that many locations left to check. We got almost everything. So it wasn't a true hundo, but it was close to it. It would have been really nice if we could have found speed boots. I got no idea where those were at. Speed boots really, you move considerably faster. Would have been really nice if I could have gotten them, but you know what? Hey, it is what it is.
Hey, Magic, how we doing?
We're doing awesome, Cake. Trying to figure out where we're at. We're in the final dungeon right now. We're heading to the final boss. We got maybe 10 minutes left at the most.
Okay. Yeah. We're about 3 minutes over estimate right now. Yeah. I will give you some time here and see if you can finish.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be, like I said, probably got about 7-8 minutes left. Probably about 1:30 is where we're gonna finish.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta love that randomizer luck. I went as fast as I could.
Randomizers scare me.
Ah, they're just random. Nothing to be scared of. As long as you know the locations around the game, then it's just a matter of, you know, making intelligent routing. Okay, so Dragon here, this is technically the final boss of the game. We're going to hide down in this corner because it's actually a manipulation to cause him to do what he did right there. So he's only vulnerable while he's shooting lasers. So we want him to fire those lasers as often as possible so that we can get, you know, maximum damage in on him. And by having him run to the bottom of the screen like that, it actually gives him... Nope, not yet. Yeah, so he's only vulnerable while his chest is open shooting lasers, so we didn't quite get him in one cycle. By standing in this particular location where I'm at right now, he has a 50% chance every action of becoming vulnerable, so... And then using the shooting balls and then running to the bottom of the screen like you just did gives you the long laser pattern. So he'll die right here. Should die right here. There we go. I just realized I had the wrong ring on. That's okay. Okay, so now we're into the tower. So the tower is basically 3 relatively short floors of monsters. We're just going to lag storm through it. Just going to thunderstorm right through the whole thing. And we're going to be right at the end. So the tower usually takes about 3 minutes. Can you come this way? Come over here, stupid robot. In order to minimize the number of thunderstorm casts that we do, we want to try to herd them all together. So every floor is going to have 3 of these brown robots, and then the doorways that you see are going to release these white robots. And what allows you to clear the floor out and get to the next floor is killing all of the white robots. So, like I said, we want to herd them, you know, as much as possible, so that we can, you know, get them down as quickly as we can. I'm not going to herd the third one. He's all the way on the far left side. We're just going to kill these 2, and then I'm going to run over to the other side. I got plenty of magic rings, so I don't have to worry about MP. Yeah, so in using the thunderstorm here, it is the safest way of doing this. If I can get these ones to run to the right... Alright, yeah, come on, this way. Come over here. Oh, God, this stupid helicopter. Okay, 3rd floor. 3rd verse, same as the 1st. Come on, this way, this way, this way. This way. God. Just the least cooperative robot ever. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna warrior ring this guy, so I don't have to burn the last magic ring. I have it for Dinah. So without the power ring, these things can have up to 512 health. So, you know, the power ring adding 8 damage additional per hit really makes a difference here. You can actually, like, totally feel the difference. Alright. And now we're going to grab the final item of the game. Here it is. We're going to combine all 4 of the swords together, and we're going to get Crystalis. So, the final item of the game here, Crystalis, is what gives us access to killing the final boss. And the final boss is not too bad. It's the heart of the tower. So to make this as easy as possible, I'm actually just going to destroy the side turrets. Okay. With the side turrets dead, basically the heart's defenseless, so we're just going to do this, make this as quickly as possible. Normally, when you shoot the heart in the center, they fire these wave beams at you that do monster damage and block your shots. But get ready on time, because as soon as the screen fades to black, is when time comes up. And time. Well, that could have gone worse. I'm glad I didn't have to make a bunch of extra checks because, you know, there was a handful of spots left. But that's you know, it's a great game. It's a super fun, you know, action RPG. As you can see, it's extremely fast-paced. There's tons of stuff going on with it, and you know, if you've never played it, it's worth a play. It's a fantastic game.
Hey, that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
On my end, you clocked in at 129.50.
Yeah, that's about where I expected it to be, right about 130.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, I apologize, I went over estimate, but it, you know, I mean, I tried to set, like, these things can go anywhere from like about 50 minutes if you get like all the items and just blast through to like an hour and 45 minutes. So I tried to kind of be in the middle of there in hopes that I would get more of an average run, and it was a little bit of a longer run. But hey, you know what? Such as randomizers.
Such as randomizers. You did a good job, and that was a lot of fun to listen to and watch, and I appreciate it, dude. Thanks for coming out.
Well, thanks for having me again this year. You know, looking forward to it next year. Hopefully I'll have something, you know, else additional.
You're always busy with these randomizers, dude, so I'm sure you'll have something.
I love them.
All right.
All right.
We're going to move along with the schedule so that we can keep things going. Next up, we're going to have Call Me It, run by Nowloa without an S. I'll be nice to you this. And we will be moving on with that. So sit tight, everybody in chat. We'll get that up in just a moment. And thank you again, Matrick, for an awesome run.
Thanks.